Welcome to Tokyo Wave, recorded in a live studio in Harajuku, Japan, with your hosts Aaron and Parker. All right, everyone, welcome to episode 24 of Tokyo Wave. We're your hosts, Aaron Randall
and Parker Allen. Today we are joined by a special guest, actress, comedienne, and communication trainer, Christiane Brew.
On Tokyo Wave, we bring you weekly updates from our studio in Harajuku.
Join us in segments featuring this week's top news,
political happenings,
business,
and other random garbage. To get us started, here are this week's top news highlights.
Chief Cabinet Secretary Suga frontrunner in Japan's LDP race after sudden resignation of Prime Minister Abe.
Warren Buffett makes $6 billion bet on Japanese trading houses.
Niigata City Education Board head to resign after saying war could solve coronavirus.
This week in Japan. All right, so to get us started, Chief Cabinet Secretary Suga is the frontrunner in Japan's LDP race after sudden resignation of Prime Minister Abe.
On August the 28th, Prime Minister Abe shocked Japan and the world in a press conference where he announced his intention to resign for health reasons.
The race to name his successor for president of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party is now underway, with the vote to be held on September 14th.
The winner of this LDP election will be named as Japan's next prime minister in an extraordinary diet session, which could be held as early as December 16th.
Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga, 71 years old, who has been Abe's right-hand man for nearly 8 years and is widely regarded as the continuity candidate, has garnered wide support from factions within the LDP, despite that Suga himself is not a member of any faction.
So, who is Yoshihide Suga? Tune in to Tokyo Wave next week for a special episode where we do a deep dive into his background and what's likely to happen next in Japanese politics.
Up next, Warren Buffett makes $6 billion bet on Japanese trading houses.
The Financial Times has reported that famous investor Warren Buffett has placed a $6 billion bet on Japan's 5 biggest trading houses.
If you're wondering what defines a trading house, they are integrated commodity specialists that are increasingly transforming into global venture capital and private equity businesses.
Buffett's move follows an unprecedented $132 billion exodus of foreign investment from Japanese equities over the past 32 months on fading optimism about Prime Minister Abe's economic program.
With this new investment, Buffett's investment company, Berkshire Hathaway, is now one of the largest shareholders in Mitsubishi Corporation, Mitsui & Company, Itochu, Sumitomo, and Marubeni.
This big bet investment in Japan marks a decisive lunge for Buffett, beyond the familiarity of his home market in the United States, where technology stocks have surged to record highs, but other industrial investments have suffered heavy setbacks because of the pandemic.
Billionaire Warren Buffett is known as the Oracle of Omaha, a nickname he earned from coming from humble beginnings in rural Omaha, Nebraska, to becoming one of the world's most celebrated investors.
The Oracle of Omaha built his fortune as a value investor, buying undervalued stocks with sound fundamentals for a discounted price, then holding them as long-term investments.
So, up until recently, Buffett has been largely all-American in his investments, but now it looks like he is gunning for a new title as the Oracle of Otemachi.
Will this big bet pay off, or has the 90-year-old Buffett drank the matcha-flavored Kool-Aid? Only time will tell.
I wonder how often he comes to Japan.
He couldn't have come in the past few months.
No, and I've never heard of him being here ever before. This is an interesting development.
Well, I heard about the Mitsubishi. Give me 5%.
Up next, the Niigata City Education Board head to resign after saying war could solve coronavirus.
The Mainichi reported that the superintendent of the education board in Tsubame City of Niigata Prefecture has announced that he will resign after public backlash following his remarks that a war could be the solution to the coronavirus pandemic.
Hiroshi Endo, age 55, distributed a document at a regular Tsubame City Board of Education meeting in late August that stated that war would solve the coronavirus pandemic.
According to the Tsubame Municipal Board of Education, Endo noted in a report distributed at a regular Board of Education meeting held on August the 21st that the way to solve the coronavirus pandemic in a short period of time would be for a big war to break out somewhere. If China and the United States began a war somewhere outside their own countries, money will move, and it will likely give the economy a boost.
Yikes. On September 2nd, he indicated his intention to resign from his post at the end of the month.
Endo said in reference to the war remark, "It had not been my true intent, but I apologize from the bottom of my heart to city residents for making them feel discomfort or deeply anxious. But I still like war." You might have not said that last part.
There were complaints about the remarks from an outside party, and in response, Endo posted an apology on the city's website on August 31st.
On September 1st, Tsubame's mayor, Tsutomu Suzuki, said, "As someone at the top of education administration, the comments were extremely lacking in propriety, and Endo's resignation is unavoidable."
So we know that everyone wants this pandemic to end, but I don't think we need to start wishing for a world war. How about a less deadly option, like a vaccine?
But a world war would likely give the economy a boost. Well, that's not too bad, right?
All right, and up next we have a special interview with Christiane Brew, actress, comedian, and entrepreneur. You're now listening to Tokyo Wave. Thanks, Christiane, for forcing yourself to be in this small room with smelly Parker and I.
Thanks, Aaron.
So first, a bit about our special guest. Trained in several schools of improv, Christiane has performed improv and scripted plays on stages in Tokyo, New York City, Dubai, London, Hong Kong, Bangalore, Vancouver, Australia, and New Zealand. She has taught and coached improv and communications workshops in Tokyo, Osaka, Bangalore, New Zealand, and the UK.
Christiane's recent acting work has seen her in Japan's favorite Shin Godzilla movie, American Express, and Uniqlo Worldwide TV commercial, provided the voice for several game characters, and she is the face and body for another 2 worldwide video games.
Her secret superpower is listening and observing, be that when coaching or performing. A sponge that soaks everything in and plays it for the truth of the moment, not for easy laughs. And some say she's naturally funny, but you'll have to be the judge of that.
Since December 2016, she's gotten into storytelling, big style, not only hosting her own monthly comedy storytelling interrogation show in Tokyo, the Perfect Liars Club Tokyo, but also performing her stories whilst on her travels. She regularly plays on stage in Tokyo with the Tokyo Comedy Store and the Pirates of Tokyo Bay, and performs stand-up around the city.
Well, Christiane, welcome to Tokyo Wave.
Oh my God, have you finished yet?
Sorry.
Who is this woman? She's amazing. I love her.
Send money now.
Send money now. My mum told me to put that bit about she's naturally funny.
Well, we'll be the judge of that.
Hey!
Your buyer, not mine. So, first of all, thank you again for joining us today on Tokyo Wave. I'd like to start off. Tell us about your Japan story. What brought you here to Japan?
Thank you for having me, by the way. I never said thank you. I was on the beach in Italy. I was working in Bari in South Italy for a year. And it was a Sunday afternoon. The wind was whipping around. It wasn't a very nice beach. The wind was whipping around, being sprayed in the face. And my friend turned to me and said, "We should go to Japan." And I said, that's a great idea. So we went home because it started to rain, had an espresso and some pizza, did an application form, and I ended up in Japan on a 3-month contract in Nagoya, teaching at Sugiyama, yeah, Sugiyama University. And I thought, well, it's only 3 months. If I like it, great. If I don't, it's only 3 months. But I really liked it.
And you're still here.
Yeah, it's like Hotel California, isn't it? Just, you cannot leave.
My favorite analogy for Japan. It is like Hotel California.
Crazy. So before coming here, you didn't have like it was just that conversation on the beach and then boom?
Yeah, I was young. I was impressionable. Well, I wasn't that young. I was in my 30s. Young-minded, let's say. So, yeah, I've always been impulsive, and it just seemed like that's why I retrained as a teacher, so let's take advantage.
Right on, right on. So after the 3-month stint in Nagoya, did you stay in Nagoya, or did you...
My contract finished, so they sent me home, but I renewed, because I was like, there's something about this country that I haven't found yet. And so I came back for a 4-month contract, so it's getting better and better. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of that 4-month contract, I met a man. Yeah. So I had to renew my contract, so I came back. And then I lost that man, thankfully. But then I discovered mountains.
Ooh.
We don't have I'm from Cambridge in England, and we're as flat as a pancake. We're like Holland. So I discovered mountains, and that basically kept me here for a number of years.
Well, Japan does have Mountain Day.
It does, and I love it. I sit there and look at pictures of mountains and get excited.
Happy Mountain Day.
Yay.
Yeah, it's funny hearing. I grew up in Orlando, Florida, and, it's also completely flat land. So for me, too, coming to Chiba originally, it was incredible. That's one of the things that kept me here, too. The nature, the mountains, the forest.
Yeah. Oh, how sweet. We're like brothers and sisters, aren't we?
Very cool. Okay, so what?
Christy Aaron.
That's fabulous.
How did you make your way to Tokyo finally?
Shinkansen.
Oh, okay. That's how most people do.
No, I went back to England and I had an operation, a pretty phenomenal operation where I had my both of my feet reconstructed, so I have new feet. It's a pretty phenomenal story, actually, but I'll save that for another day. And then I thought, shit, I have no money. I'll go to Tokyo for 1 semester. That was 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't do Tokyo in 1 semester.
No, that's not how it works. So you also told us that you're an actress. How did you get into that?
I was about 3 years old, and I forced my parents and my family and the neighbours dogs and everyone else just to look at me. And I made up stories and pretended I was someone else. So that's where it all kind of started. And then I did acting schools in London over the summer, and then forgot about it because I became an adult, but rediscovered it in Japan.
Ooh.
Because Japan is the land of opportunity, I think. It makes you think about what you want and that there's so much you could possibly do here. It's fabulous. Does that answer your question? Because you both look blank.
No, you've got me in really deep thought because I couldn't agree more.
Well, you are my bro.
I'm feeling more and more of a connection. Seriously, this is the land of deep self-reflection. Yeah. I don't know how much.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. I mean, I came here as a useless college student, and I continue here as a useless person.
No, you're not.
Self-discovery.
Hey, so you've both got awesome stories. Yeah.
But so, you've done lots of stuff with commercials, video games. Is there anything in particular that was memorable for you in your career in acting?
Yes. I realised that my bio wasn't updated, and I can now reveal. But at the time when I wrote it, I couldn't. I was. Do you know Death Stranding? Kojima.
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked with Kojima on Death Stranding.
Oh my god.
Have you played it?
I haven't played it, but you like worked with him, like you were in the same room with him and talked to him?
Well, do you know the character Mama and Logney?
No, I don't.
I am she.
Whoa!
I shit you not. Yeah.
Is he as crazy in real life as the media reports suggest?
He's not crazy. I think he's fabulous. He's funny. He's a funny thing, as in haha, not as in woo.
I could mean both.
But he's super focused because I did the motion capture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, phenomenal. And improv is what helped me get it, actually. I'm renowned for eating an apple that wasn't there. Yeah, I walked into my second audition and they said, "You're the one that ate the apple."
Oh, wow.
So I'm forever known as the woman that can eat the apple realistically. Anyway, so we did rehearsals and then we did filming, and I had to learn the whole script. So the script, the blocking, you had to basically act. And I don't think people realise how much work a mocap performer puts into it. They've only just started to give them their own award category last year, I think it was, Golden Globes.
Oh, wow.
But they bloody should. I mean, that man in the water, Guillermo del Toro. What was that movie called? You're terrible at movies.
The Revenant.
No, that's not Revenant. That's Leonardo DiCaprio who got into the horse, wasn't it? No,
wait,
that wasn't.
Man in the Water. Well, there was a lot of water in the Revenant.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
well, it's the man.
It's the other water movie.
It's the other water movie, not Titanic. The guy that dresses up, he puts loads of stuff on his face. He's famous for covering himself in plastic and having big costumes, but you never see his face because he doesn't want to have his face on camera. Super famous guy. I'm terrible with names.
Well, I really want to... Hold on, let's look this up real quick.
Oh, God. This is great. I just have to say something to you, and then you're like, oh, let me Google that.
What's a...
Yeah, on more famous podcasts, they have, an assistant in the background to do that, but...
Oh, he did
We're
something...
We're self-service here on Tokyo Wave.
And you're very self-sufficient. He also did something in Star Wars. The really tall character in Star Wars. Boba Fett? Is that someone? Or the one with the things that jiggled out of his face? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. First...
Jar Jar Binks!
Oh my God, Jar Jar Binks. The most notorious, for the prequel character.
So that guy has been doing
The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water.
That's it.
And he did Pan's Labyrinth too.
Yes.
That movie was amazing. Yeah, I watched that. That was 2006. I watched that back in college, like with my friends. And yeah, that was wild, crazy, scary, beautiful.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy that was the main water guy in The Shape of Water, he's never up for any awards because he doesn't speak. So he's not up for Best Actor or something like that.
Ah.
Best water shape guy.
The best guy that looks wet.
Really, really wet. The wettest. The wettest of 2019.
So anyway, yeah, so they've opened up a category now for motion capture.
Oh, cool.
Which I think is fabulous, really, for the industry.
And you're now accepting nominations.
I am indeed. Well, I literally just missed, the deadline was a week away, and I contacted my agent, my manager, and it was just we were too late to get the nominations in for the mocap. Because I feel that the work we did on the mocap was phenomenal. Not just myself, but the other actors as well. We were a fabulous team. everybody learnt their lines. Everybody just put everything into it as if we were actually filming. But we missed the deadline. So, and we can't apply this year because it didn't happen this year.
Oh, man.
I know. I'm really sad. So if you want to give me a little award, I'll take it.
Yes, you have the Tokyo Wave Award for motion capture awesomeness.
Dude, we should do like an awards thing. Oh, man, that's so cool. Oh, sorry, this was all for Death Stranding.
Yes.
Okay.
And so just to get back to that, I just have to ask, do you have any like funny anecdotes about Kojima?
Yes. I had arranged I had a Perfect Liars show in the evening, and being a freelance actor, you have to really juggle your schedule. Like you're juggling it really, really tight. Mm-hmm. And if I couldn't commit to the full rehearsal schedule and the shooting schedule, then I would lose out on the job. Because, yes, I'm amazing, but they would just get someone else to do it. Luckily, they didn't. And we all stood there, and it was the second day. Perfect Liars was happening that evening. It was going to be tight as a... And...
That's pretty tight.
We were stood in the circle doing the morning greetings and everything, and he said, "Thank you so much for your work yesterday. We worked really hard. We've got a lot to do today. We're probably going to go over, so let's hope that nobody has anything to do tonight. It's going to be a late one." And I stood there going, do I ring my manager or should I tell him directly? No, I shouldn't speak to him directly. But as it happens, the team worked so well and things went so smoothly, and I literally, nick of time, arrived at Perfect Lies to open it with like 10 minutes to spare. So other people had basically been super duper helpful, got the audience in, sorted out the door, done all of the setup for me, and I just breezed in like some sort of fancy pants MC, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Christiane. Welcome to Perfect Liars." So, yeah. Plus, I was sweaty from wearing a mocap suit all day. So, yeah, that was smelly. Yeah. So it's not really what you're looking for in terms of a juicy story.
Well, I was thinking more about, the sort of, I think, isn't he known for doing kind of wacky stuff or saying wacky things?
Well, yes, he is, but I saw no evidence. I mean, the wackiest thing he did was hug me. And
Japanese people don't do that.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. We were at the launch party, which was phenomenal in itself. There was the white hands. We all had white hands, and we had to sign and put it all over the board. So it was fabulous. It was just like a who's who of video game production on this wall. They did it in conjunction with an Austrian company, I think it was. So the Austrians were there, the Japanese were there. We had strange food that I've never even seen in Tokyo, but it was Japanese. And then he came over to thank me personally. He said, "Thank you for coming," because I was late. I kept him waiting. And then I won't tell you what the conversation was because it's I'm not allowed to. But then afterwards, he gave me a hug.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't wash my arm.
So that's what that smell is.
Kojima. Yeah. So that's the craziest thing he's done, really, is hugged. And yeah, no evidence of that, really. Sorry to disappoint.
No. I mean, that story in itself is very interesting. From what I've heard, he can be kind of a divisive character in the video game industry itself, and that even the game Death Stranding, I think certain countries didn't like it, and his response was, "This is a new genre of video games, right? Like the Italians and the French will get it. You Americans, you don't know what you're talking about." I don't know if you saw this, but and I've heard too, his office in Tokyo, it's really confusing. Like if you go there like uninvited, it's like this gigantic white room or something. Like have you been there?
First time I went to pick up the script, I was like, Where's the door handle?
It's like you're in like a futuristic room, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you feel that...
So it's like a serial killer room. It's like, this, okay, so this is where I'm going to get murdered.
Exactly. And the Ludlands, his logo, he's got a life-size Ludwens or Ludlands there. Mm-hmm. And you walk in and then the door's shut behind you and it's like, shoo, and then it's gloriously white, everything's shiny, no door handle, and you think the floor's going to go or the walls are going to come in, something like that. And then there's like a phone, and so you pick up the phone and then magically you're looking at this, thinking where you think the door is, and you're looking like, okay, someone's coming, but then they came from the other side, and I was like,
wow.
Whoa! And that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, but it is fabulous.
He must have like secret cameras so that he can watch people be confused by this white room. That's what I would do.
That would be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Thank you for coming. Pleased to meet you. Now we get to watch the playback footage of you looking completely confused. Ha ha, punked.
Yeah.
May I ask, before Death Stranding, did you do a lot of other motion capture as well?
No. Funnily enough, I did Resident Evil, but that was my face.
Oh, wow, Resident Evil.
So the new, I can't remember what Resident Evil 2020 or something.
Okay.
So my face is in it. Apparently I'm called Emily, but there was a big malarkey on Twitter where people were saying, I can't find you. And then I've got people commenting on my YouTube going, are you Emily in Resident Evil? And I'm like, oh my God, am I not? My agent says I am. Why have they not put me on IMDb yet? So, apparently I am. I did the job. So I went to Capcom in Osaka for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, no, I hadn't before. Mm-hmm. So I had to do some research. I was like, what the pajamas is mocap? Mm-hmm. Had no idea.
Yeah.
And they're like thick, like the clothes that you have to wear.
Yeah, it's like, think of it like a wetsuit type thing, but squidgy, so that your body can move, because you're basically, I guess you're like you are a movement specialist, and they love the way I move. That was
there's an Outcast song about that.
That was one thing that was said. I love the way you move. So, oh God. And then they cover you in like little round balls, like reflective balls, little silver balls. And it's like a two-piece. The ones in America, I've seen the ones in America that Troy Baker and Mads and everyone wore. And they were much better than ours, I will just say. But ours were much better than some of the suits that friends have done for sort of smaller video games. Mm-hmm. And then you have your belt on, and then you have your dots on your face, so it picks up your register. So basically everything you see on Death Stranding, from the eyes down, is me.
Oh, wow.
It's not really her. Apparently, that's what I was told. And then you have a helmet on and a camera that sort of comes about a finger to a thumb away from your eyes, and there's a light in your eyes all the time. So when I was doing the Lockney Mama death scene, we had to do several takes, because you can't hug somebody that's dying, with spoiler alert, sorry.
Spoilers, yeah.
On Tokyo Wave, we bring you weekly video game spoilers.
Oh, sugar. Oh, God. People are going to hate me now. Anyway, you can't hug someone with a camera on your eyes, a camera sticking out of your forehead when they're dying. Oh, sorry, everyone.
That's wild. That's really cool.
Maybe we can get our first hate mail now.
Awesome. You've made it when you've got hate mail.
Well, let's switch gears for a second. You're into improv, and I want to hear more about your improv group, Perfect Liars Club. I've actually been to see just one show, and it was awesome. And first of all, let me just say that is an awesome name. How did you come up with that?
Well, very interesting. For a start, it's not improv. The MC is improv, but the stories that you hear are curated by me. So Perfect Liars Club was actually founded by a lady called Layla McKay in Washington, D.C. in 2013. And she did it over there. And then when her wife got transferred to Tokyo, she's a diplomat, they set it up in Tokyo. But they were only here for, about 7 months, because then Brexit happened and she had to go back home and sort that out, as you do. And so they approached me and they said, Christiane, we think you'd be a great fit. Can you take it over? And I said, I'll come back to you with questions. And so I left it a couple of days, went back, had a phone call, and it was just like question. Silence. Okay, I accept. And that was it. And it's the best decision I've ever made, because it's spun my life and my joy into a completely new direction.
Well, you're definitely good at lying.
Hey, cheeky monkey. Did I tell a lie when you were there?
I think you did, actually.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
I've
been lied to.
I'm sorry. Or am I?
Several times, but only once by you.
Oh.
Well, except for just now.
Oh, that's special, because I've only lied in my opening story twice. Maybe 3 times out of 20, 30 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what I said might be a lie.
Oh, God.
Which wall did I just break? So for the people out there who don't know what is Perfect Liars Club, what is it?
That's a really good question. So Perfect Liars Club is a comedy story interrogation show, basically a game show. 4 people tell a story, but only 3 are true. And the audience have to interrogate in the second half to then vote about who they think the liar is. Generally, they get it wrong, which they love. When they get it right, they're really annoyed. So
shit, I got it right.
Exactly. When it's amazing well, you've been in the room. It's electrifying, isn't it? When you're just waiting, have I got it right? Have I got it right? And you're with your friends, and you're like, I just want to beat my girlfriend. I want to, beat my boyfriend. And you're like, would the liar of the July 2020 show please step forward? And the drum roll's going, and the audience are like on the edge of their seats. And then it's like, now! And boom! The suspects are moving backwards and forwards, and then they slow down, and then on now, the suspect, the liar, steps forward, and the audience lose their shit.
It is amazing to watch. I mean, really, it's whoever, and so the person who you received the kind of directorship from, they created it. Yeah,
they came up with the initial idea.
What an idea.
Fabulous. Well, there's a program in England called Would I Lie to You? So it's kind of loosely based on that. It's loosely based on The Moth, because they're the style, even though we're comedic, that's the style of story. There's so many different styles of stories. But the stories have to be a certain way in order for them to work for the game. So she came up with those ideas, and then really it's up to the director in the country to not mess up the brand. You keep the basic platform, you do everything that keeps the high quality of the brand. And that's it. So I have free reign, really.
Very cool. Could you maybe what's like an example of one of these? Is it you just go out and give like a life story or something like that?
It would have to be. It's a good idea for it to be based around one event, something unbelievable, weird. The type of story where you tell your mate and they go, "No."
Okay, gotcha.
Really? And you're like, yeah, I know. One of my stories, I played hooky. This is a story about me playing hooky from school, feigning sickness, getting bored, desperately wanting sweets and cheese, because I was big into sweets and cheese, dressing up in my dead nana's clothes, and walking around the village to get some fresh air, and then going to the local shop to buy sweets and cheese. But I got found out because the guy that owns the shop is best friends with my dad. So I didn't think that one through. Anyway, the end of it, the ochi of it is I come scooting back in the house and I've eaten my cheese and my sweets, and my dad says, "Christy, are you up there?" He comes to check on me. I dart under the covers and he walks out. He says, "Have you been out?" And I said, "No." He said, "Because I've just had a phone call from Simon Cornwall." And I said, "No." I had, obviously. And he just laughed and he goes, "All right, but you can take that makeup off before your mother gets home, Christy." And then walks out the bedroom. I look in the mirror. I've still got my dead nana's wig on. I've still got makeup on. Terrible makeup. I was 12, dressed up as a 65-year-old woman. And there's curly whirly wrapper and plastic wrap of cheese sitting on the pillowcase. I was terrible. I could do half a lie, but not a full one when it came to... I didn't think my plans through back then.
Well, now you have elevated to the status of perfect liar.
Why? Is that a lie or a truth? My story.
What do you think, Aaron? That's got to be BS.
No, it sounds like something that could potentially happen.
Oh, you're from Florida.
I was born in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Grew up in Florida. Oh, everyone wears Mickey Mouse costumes there, so dressing up is quite...
They also smoke bath salts.
Yeah.
Bath salts, marijuana, and yeah, there's a bunch of Disney...
While wearing Mickey Mouse costumes.
Yeah.
Disney characters running around everywhere.
I was talking about the staff.
Oh.
So what do you think, Trey?
Jay?
Trey?
Oh, Trey's the name of the guy in DC that edits our dialogue.
Parker.
Yes.
That's what I thought, but then you said Trey, and I was like, I'm sure his name's Parker. Okay.
This would be great for Trey while he's editing it.
Changed his name.
Yeah, I just because Trey's going to listen to it afterwards, so I said Trey in the beginning.
All right.
Yeah.
Trey.
We're coming for you, Trey.
Trey, I don't think we can edit this part out. It's going to have to be revealed now that you're our dialogue editor.
Dun, dun, dun. That was an unexpected twist.
Yeah.
What was my question? Do you think it's true or false then?
I'm going to go with false.
So we've got a false and a truth.
True here.
Give me a drum roll. It's true.
Woo! Shit.
Yeah. But I do have a story-worthy life.
I feel like...
Reaction.
I think also, you've been in Japan, you said 7 years, right? More than 7 now?
10, I think.
10? I feel like with Japan stories, you could just say anything.
Oh, God, yeah.
And just, did you guys ever do that? Like Japan stories?
I get a few people with Japan stories, and for me, they're too believable.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, like you just believe anything that anybody said.
Yeah. So somebody sent me a story about eating a fox in Vietnam, and I said, it wouldn't work for an Asian audience because we know that it probably could happen. Mm-hmm. But you stick it, you if I do a show, because I do online shows now, so if I did a show for for England or the US, then they'll be like, no, that's gotta be false. No, I don't think that is, Larry. That's not true.
Oh, I love that. That's the American accent, yeah.
That's my Marianne character. Yeah.
I've already decided if you were from Tennessee, you'd be Christiane.
Christiane. I certainly would there, Trey. I'm dying!
That's hilarious.
Trey is actually my right-hand man, who also performs with Pirates of Tokyo Bay. He's my right-hand man at Perfect Lions Club, and seriously, he's phenomenal. So
actually, the reason why I was introduced to you directly was from Jim Andretta, who is, of course, on Pirates of Tokyo Bay, and you also perform with them. What's that like?
Super fun. I've learnt Japanese by listening to... because it's a bilingual comedy group. So it's helped me with my Japanese because all the group is very expressive, which is super. It's fun. It's like a mini family. I've been with them now for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And I joined just as Jim was going back to the US for his, I think that's when he did his MBA over there. And then he came back. So I got to play with him with an older, wiser Jim. Yeah. Older, wiser, educated Jim. He was educated before. But there we are.
And so, obviously, I mean, doing so many different things, how do you manage all of your different hats?
No, just do. I used to be a project manager for corporate. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm just really good at compartmentalizing, juggling.
Do you send an email to yourself at 7 o'clock in the morning? Did you file the report for the XYZ project?
I send Facebook messengers to myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
saying...
I knew that this was happening.
Yeah, so I do have conversations with myself on Facebook Messenger. And then I forget to look at them.
You ghost yourself.
Yeah, I fired myself so many times. I fired myself this morning, actually. So I've already been fired once today. Yeah, I'm a tough boss to work for. Yeah, so that must be the answer. I'm just very good at juggling, responding. I'm very proactive, but I can also react and firefight, problem solve. I'm just an all-rounder, really.
Well, speaking of juggling, you've just launched a new venture, StoryKraft. Let's talk about that. You told us earlier that you started this because of how it fits in perfectly with your specialties, perfect liars and stories.
Yeah. Thank you. I love StoryKraft. It's been bubbling away for a few years, but I've never known what my purpose was, or how I would shape it, or how it would serve the public. And then with this delightful corona that's happened, it's just kind of fine-tuned itself. I'm really into connecting people, positivity and laughter. And I think, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to serve, I want humans to empower humans to tell their story or communicate through the power of story so that they can connect with people, spread positivity. So I'll only work with comedic or light stories, as opposed to, remember that time I had cancer, which I will just say, you can make a cancer story funny. Yeah, I've written one about my mum. I've got a very serious story about my mum and the emotional journey, but then I've also got an hilarious one, because you can find funny in truth, but you need to be experienced with that. Anyway, I digress. So that's what I want to do. And now we're all on Zoom. We don't have this human connection that our brains and our bodies need for wellness. It's not self-care, it's wellness. I just thought, this is what people need. Now I know how I want to serve people and what my purpose is. So I launched it literally the other week. It was like an epiphany.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Before or after you fired yourself?
Oh, I'd fired myself only twice that month. And then I thought, no, new month, new me. And then I looked at a page and I was like, the word StoryKraft just kept popping up in my head sort of once a week. And I was like, that's the name. I'm helping people to craft stories and understand the power of connecting with other humans through story, be it on a personal level or be it on business level. I work with a couple of business clients who are preparing for conferences. Now they're online conferences. But with one client, we've worked on a story that has several stories within, and it all fits in with the purpose of his business. And it's beautiful because you get to learn more about him, but you also remember how it connects to this fabulous product he has. So just the power of story.
That's really important. You know, I'm also in the public relations field, so helping people with messaging. And especially when you're doing presenter training or speaker training, you always have this issue when people have a message to deliver, but they haven't turned it into a story. And especially when you're talking about corporate stuff, it can be dry, it can be unemotional, and it's not in the format of a story. It's talking points. It's a memo. It's not something that people are going to develop an emotional connection with, just based on the raw facts. But obviously you can add context and color and do various things and use various devices in order to turn that message into a story. And that's really one of the key elements in delivering a communication. And, you know, for in-person events and conferences, I think that people realize, I think people are just deathly afraid of public speaking. So when they're up in front of thousands of people, they think, oh shit, I have to prepare for this. I have to put this into a way that people are going to be enthralled and engaged and persuaded by what I have to tell them. But for some reason, if, you know, you're just in front of your computer and microphone, you know, you'll just shit into the, you know, Zoom for 3 hours and that's somehow okay. No, it's not. You still have to do the same thing.
Shitting into Zoom for 3 hours.
Shitting into Zoom for 3 hours.
It's a great way to say it. I've been to so many meetings recently, and that's, oh my God.
Right.
It's exactly the experience.
Let's just hop on a call. Hop, hop, hoppity, hop, hop. 3 hours.
3 hours. Where's the planning?
Aaron, everything you're saying is really confusing. How about we hop on a call tonight?
When you should be in
p.m.
bed.
Japan time, which is, 11 a.m. my time.
Right?
No, thank you.
Do you say no, thank you?
No, I wish I could.
Oh.
Or no. I come up with more, strategic ways to say no. But yeah.
That's the benefit
Have
of
another call.
living in Japan for so long.
Oh, for sure.
You find out all these ways to say no.
That all sound like yes.
Exactly. So confusing.
Does Japan make you a better liar? Tune in to next week's episode of Tokyo Wave.
Oh my God, I'd have to say 100% yes on that one.
Do you lie more since you've been here?
No.
Right.
That was my confident no.
Your eyebrows told me different.
Shit.
I think much in the way Parker was describing, probably all of us have experienced it. Coming to Japan might make us better communicators. And in that, part of that is, as you said, being able to say no in 100 different ways, with, picking the way which is most appropriate. And also, one thing that has increased is my ability to be, I hate to say passive aggressive, but really passive, right?
Yeah.
And not in a nefarious, how do you pronounce that? Is it nefarious?
I'm British, so nefarious.
Nefarious, let's go. Not in
that sounds nefarious.
Not in a nefarious way, but just be very passive. And The worst thing though is knowing when Japanese are being very passive aggressive, and when you figure that out, and then you realize how much passive aggressive stuff is going on around you. That drove me crazy for like a year.
Well, I think that's something about Japan is you know, everyone says you have to read the air, but guess what, guys? You can't unread the air.
Yeah.
Once you start reading that air, it's like a book.
This is why
you can't stop reading.
Yeah, I think the first year I became, you know, being a foreigner will never be able to read it 100%. But once I started to figure it out, it was like, oh, this is why everyone's so quiet. If that makes sense.
We're reading the air. Shut up. It's reading time. This is an air library. Shh.
I remember when I figured it out in Nagoya, and my boss had taken me to the doctor. No, I had gone to the doctor's and he was on the other end of the telephone, and he was talking to me, and I didn't understand the rationality behind this decision that he was giving me about what the doctor had said. And then I thought, oh shit, this is that thing that the Japanese do, isn't it? I'd only been here like a year or something. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, Keita, is this where you're saying no, but you don't want to say no? And the phone went silent. And I said, Keita, it's okay. You can say, yes, that's what I mean. Or no, it's okay. Just be honest with me, because I find this so confusing and I'm so stressed at the moment. And he says, that's right. And I said, thank you, Keita. Okay. And the relief I felt afterwards, I was like, great, I understand. They cannot do anything about it. So therefore, I need to stop pushing and being such an arsehole in the surgery. And that was it. And as soon as you get it, it saves you a lot of stress, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a problem, and maybe it could be a major sort of stress for foreign nationals living in Japan, especially people with limited Japanese ability, because you want the conclusion, but nobody wants to give you the conclusion because there's this trepidation and fear that is going to somehow disappoint you. But in reality, you just want the damn conclusion.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not going to give it to you.
And the whole thing with the conclusion always coming at the end of all presentations and all meetings. Right? Even if they have something to say, they're going to wait till the very last minute, you know, of the 3-hour meeting.
And it's not even worth waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. Is there like a fast forward button or something?
Trey.
I remember, one of my first domestic Japanese jobs. I entered at the same time as another Japanese guy who's my age. We were in a really long meeting about the website, and it was like the web. Tanto was there talking about the website, and he whispers, to our bucho, our superior, "Hey, I gotta go take a shit. Can I leave this meeting?" And like everyone like that was close, but there were like 40 people, but everyone that was close by heard him, and like we were laughing our asses off. And he went to the bathroom and came back 10 minutes later. But then after that, he was like seriously like, oh my God, they got so mad at him. It's like, you cannot do that in a meeting. You cannot get up and leave. Like,
oh my God.
And I was like, oh man, this sucks.
And that's when he really shot himself.
Wow. I tell you, hats off to you two for actually working in Japanese sort of environments, like corporate stuff. I've been quite lucky.
You've never experienced salaryman life until you've been given a 30-minute lecture on why you never cross your arms in front of a superior.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That sounds awful.
And just so many other things.
It was a learning experience, though. I don't cross my arms anymore.
Oh, and talking at all to your superior's superior, I've been sat down and yelled at because I gave a business plan to my superior, and he said, yeah, this is awesome. Next day, boom.
That's it. They lead you into this false sense of security, and you think, I've broken the system. And then the next day it's like,
the next day it's like, it's time to break you, boy.
Yeah. Funny. You think you're safe, but you're not.
It's like being Catholic. I mean, you just can't be right.
That's an interesting analogy of it.
We just lost all of our Catholic viewers, I guess. Well, thank you so much for coming on to Tokyo Wave and telling us these great stories and breaking your NDAs with Kojima.
I didn't. I told you
Yet.
what I could.
No, thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yes, my little sister.
What's your little sister's name?
Gemma. She went into hospital for quite a nasty emergency operation, and we've been on tenterhooks. She's recovering slowly, past 3-4 weeks now. So, Gemma, this is for you. Now you know something about your big sister that you didn't know before.
Soggy suits.
Soggy suits. What's that?
Motion capture. You said they were soggy.
I didn't say they were soggy. That was you, wasn't it, Aaron?
I don't remember. Maybe it was me.
Oh, no, it sounds like something you'd say, Parker. Soggy suits.
I don't think I said soggy. Someone else said soggy.
Smell
Play
it?
the tape.
We've got it on recording. So.
Who's the liar this week?
Yes. Anyway, so shout out to my little sister Gemma and anyone who loves stories. Tell a story to someone and connect. Spread the love and joy.
But make sure it has a sinister end.
You've just ruined it now, Parker.
Sorry.
Hey, listeners, that's right. You listener right there.
Who do you think should be our next guest on Tokyo Wave? Let us know. Drop us a line at wave@tokyowave.jp.
We hope you enjoyed Tokyo Wave.
If you haven't already, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Join us again next week on Tokyo Wave.